we call a lightning round.
January 6th
was a setup from the beginning. We cannot have actual, anyway.
What we saw happen on January 6th was clearly an attempt to delay the count of the electoral votes.
Coronavirus vaccine policy.
They knew Fauci had awards for his work in cytokines.
Mr. Fauci is one of the most corrupt individuals in Washington, D.C.
We are to oppose any vaccines.
Everybody ought to get vaccinated, and we need to do everything we can to protect ourselves from future viruses.
Wyoming residents' faith in the election process.
I understand when I talked to Mike Lindell, he did say that there was a small portion of voter fraud in this state, but that is alarming.
What about Facebook using the system to steer people? We know for a fact all the major internets do that.
The 2000 Mules movie is something that I think we have great concern about.
voting machines that, are suspected fraud.
There are politicians in this country, beginning with Donald Trump, who have lied to the American people. He consistently has said that the election was stolen when it wasn't.
Ukraine is corrupt. We started it. We got involved. We pushed them into being against the Russian government.
Money laundering. I think that's the biggest ticket for Ukraine's and the Biden administration.
It's the front line in the battle for freedom. And I think we've got to elect serious leaders.
Coming from a galaxy near you, this is Brothers in Booze. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
Welcome to Brothers in Booze. I'm not sure. Liz Cheney is the voice of reason.
Yeah, that's scary all by itself. So yeah.
So on that note, I'll have this beer that y'all see over.
One of those directions.
Yeah, I don't know what everybody sees. I don't know what you see. I see. It's not a line of Googles. It's a High Life.
Who makes that?
It is a collaboration between New Jersey Craft Beer Week and South Jersey Beer Scene. It's a premium dose American style lager, 5.0%. Enjoy. It says on the. My friend John from the Internet Beer Twitters. Yeah, John has a last name, but I wish not to disclose that. He visited me last week.
Yeah.
And brought me some goodies, and we exchanged goodies. And so this wonderful looking Pilsner, it's all the rage these days, Pilsner stuff.
Well, I love the can art. I just like the emoji. That's nifty.
I life.
Yeah. So, what you got? How's it taste?
Nice and wasn't that word crispy getting thrown around? Crisp. I'll drop the crispy. Crisp, nice, wonderful lagers that have been popping up everywhere. I don't know, it has a little bit of a hot bite at the end, but it's nice. Refreshing, perfect for this time of year. Lawnmower, shower, because apparently it's in a can, not a glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. So, crispy boy. If you recall on the Twitter Spaces where we were talking about when I was actually in Detroit, and I noticed that there was I saw several beers that were rice beers, and I mentioned one of them was a Japanese style rice lager, which is what I have. 6-sided Japanese style rice lager from their lager project. Love the can, simple. That's just a cool ass can, even though it's not got a lot of design on it. Even the top's black. I don't know. I'm a sucker, so what can I say?
Simple is better sometimes, right?
Yeah. All right. So this should be very light and not clear, but not dark. You can see like that. Look at that coming up. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the lagers, you get that very distinctive lager smell, which this is not. This is like really light. But like even with it looks almost like a shandy with how light it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's delightful. So you get the lager flavor, but the rice really softens it. Look at that coming out. Sorry.
You meant the beer, dog. Stop.
Well, okay. I'm a dork and I have a 12-year-old humor. So, but no, this is like when you talk lawnmower beer, this is exactly the same kind of thing. Just like hot day, just got done working out in the yard. Really good. And lawnmower shower, yes. So cheers.
Cheers. So, this is a little bit of a disclaimer and inside ball here. I got a new desk, one of those desks that rises and shines and goes down.
Yeah. Oh, you have the auto one. See, I have one that you actually have to manually put it up and down.
Oh, this one's all like mechanical and shit. It's really nice.
Damn.
But
fancy.
that's helpful for, Doug, we are told that we should be standing more active, more on our feet. Sitting down for long periods of time is not healthy for anybody, really. But for us, with our hearts cranking, I don't know what you want to say, different, older, a little bit beat up,
or a little plasticine. So yeah,
right. So I'll be moving around more, but also, Doug, I'll be off camera a little bit more because I've decided since I'm standing up, I'm just going to leave my beers cold in the fridge.
Nice.
And then when it's time for me to get them, I'm going to say, bye, y'all.
Yep.
And I'm going to go. Doug is a big boy. He can handle the stream while I'm away, y'all.
What? I hold me, Greg. I'm scared.
So before we bring our fun, engaging guest, which this is my first time meeting him, so you will do all the introduction, Doug, and hopefully, of course, take the interview to where it needs to go. I would like to say that do we want to talk about Roberto?
Yeah, let's do it. Since he announced it today, I guess it's public knowledge now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Roberto has kindly asked us to co-host a charity event. We should just have him on. Roberto.
No, okay. But I would say it might take him a bit to get in here, but because and plus when Roberto gets on here, we won't get our other guest in here for another 50 minutes. So we will be we'll get more details to you guys as they come in. But we are going to host a charity event for Roberto coming up here in the fall, raising money for the cause that I don't remember, but it'll be a Saturday. He's walking home right now, so he's not in a good place to do it. That's cool, but it'll be a Saturday in the fall. I think in the morning, we'll be up drinking something, mimosas or something. Breakfast beers.
40 for 40
race. Yeah. So basically, we're all doing 40-yard dashes, but it's for everybody that's 40 and over, and some of us who are 50 and over. So yes, old men running is a good way to describe it. So the charity, I'm trying to remember as well, is there is a charity involved. I know that this was kind of something he got from Beer Moses is a good one. Daniel is from John Finkel, who is a fitness nut. That guy is exercises all the time, and that's pretty. Yeah, he's really super fit. So basically, I'm looking it up here. So bear with me a second. So basically the blog post. So now it's gonna. Now I'd have to read an article, but there's we'll get more details to you folks. But yeah, there's an article that he put on. He put a GoFundMe as part of it. So we'll share that. We'll share that out in the group and that way you guys can get a little more information about it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try running in it. So watch me running 40 yards.
I might. Right.
And that's going to be worth the price of admission because I run like a idiot. So it'll be
If
great.
not, and on top of, we're going to try to recruit some of y'all crazy asses to do it.
Yeah.
Too.
So whoever wants to be involved, jump on. It's gonna be fun.
Yes. I know
I want to see Daniel Fisher running down like New York City streets at a 40 yard.
While we're calling people out,
a winner picks the charity.
I don't know how old these fellas are though. I just assume that all y'all are kids and I'm just the oldest person. But JG, what's going on? Victor, what's going on? Manny, is Manny above 40? I don't think so. Manny's close though.
I think he said I think when we talked about he mentioned something one time where he's like in his late 30s. He's not actually quite 40. So
our board Casey.
Also, JHG can run because he's older than I am. And this
motherfucker be biking all around DC.
That motherfucker looks like he's 30 and he's older than I am.
Right. Oh, look at that. It's coming out.
Well, we're going to have to get him. We'll just have to put a bowl of Lucky Charms at the finish line.
Right.
He'll be great.
We need a cereal element in here. But anywho, y'all, we don't want to take too much time, but we're excited to do this. It's going to be fun. It's going to be Doug and I out of our box a little bit.
Yep.
Our Friday box. So it will be fun and fascinating. If y'all wanted to join in any capacity, whether it be just watching us and commenting, of course, like y'all always do. That's part of the gig, and I think that's part of what Roberto wants. He wants commentary from Doug and I. We will be inviting all of our past co-hosts and our current co-hosts, Renee,
Lauren,
Chelsea. So we're gonna can't forget Casey, of course. So we're inviting all of them. It's gonna be a big old party. Gonna be fun. Roberto's approving, so we're doing everything good so far, Doug.
That's good.
Right. So that's coming up, y'all. We're excited about that shit.
Yep. So that's gonna be fun. But yeah, let's. Why don't we start ramping up here to bring our guests in? I'm a little antsy because I'm really happy to be able to book him on the show. So yeah, if you're ready, let's go.
Here we go.
All right. So tonight we're lucky enough that we can have my friend Nick North come on. I met him through Dad 2.0 when I did a workshop at Dad 2.0 talking about raising LGBTQ kids. Him, Amber Leventry, Brent Almond, who's been on this show. My wife Jill was part of that because at that time we had our son had just come out as trans. So it was a really great panel, and Nick is just he will light up your day. He is just a really lovely human. Just literally, he's positivity and humor, and he'll just make your day. So yeah.
Oh, he's already fun in a green room. I almost need to let him escape. So with that said, Doug.
Yeah, let's bring him on, Mr. Nick North.
Hey,
welcome, man. So ordinarily we usually ask our guests what they have in their glass. However, you're not a person that drinks, so
I have a glass jar of weed. I can tell you about what's in that.
Hey, let's talk about that, and let's make a disclaimer up front. Where Nick lives, it is completely legal. He lives in Canada, and Canada's legal. So whatever he does
federally, all across the board.
No, that is protected, and it's
wow.
Good.
Yeah, in Canada, it's no different than having a beer. It's like the same. You buy it at a weed store that's licensed. They're all run by the government, sort of thing. And yeah.
And Wisconsin, they're not. So you do.
Pardon?
Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah,
it's not quite legal here, so we have to be a little concerned.
Understandable. Well.
Oh, it's legal some places.
Yeah, that's
some
true.
Places.
So can you explain what is in that jar?
Currently, that particular jar what is in this joint here is what we call Apricot Delight. It's 22% THC, no nothing remarkable on the CBD front. We're not worried about that here. And it's a delightful sativa. It's a nice, happy afternoon smoke.
Nice. Well, it's not afternoon here, but yeah, is it there? What?
It's
what
6:20 here, so it's like close to 4:20.
Yeah, close enough. All right. So one thing I do want to ask before we get into all the other things, we got a lot we could talk about. And it's going to be fucking fun. But I know there's sativa, and then there's another
Indica.
indica. So can you explain the difference between the two?
So what I like to remember as a stoner is that indica is in the couch. That is where you get the couch lock, and you're never getting up. You're in the couch. That's what's up. The sativa, it's like Saturday night sativa. You want to party. You're like having a good time. You're on sativa time.
Yeah.
But don't get into couch.
Yeah.
That's the bedtime sleeper.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Well, I knew there was two, and I personally am not a person who smokes weed or bud, because I don't like what that does to me, because that makes me very placid and like very, very, very. And I'm a person that likes to do stuff, and I don't like sitting still. So like when I do that, that actually like makes me panicky, which is
It often for people can make them paranoid. My wife is like, "You do you, babe. Smoke all the weed your heart desires," but don't give it to her, because she will like be in a bunker worried that the world is ending in like about 12 seconds. It's not a hot look. It's not good. She gets so paranoid. It's wrong.
I can recall there was one time, placid as in calm, like overly calm, not flaccid. Thank you, Roberto. Although probably that too, because
There are studies that say that chronic weed smokers have a problem with not being able to orgasm. So, not that I have that problem. I'm good. But studies show a bunch of teenagers can't get it up anymore now that weed's legal. So,
Yeah.
There's other
Greg,
things involved there, but
Yeah.
You got any comments there, Greg?
no.
No.
Like, it's not a problem I have. So,
but you, Nick, in my opinion, just meeting you and knowing you, and really only knowing you for, with all due respect, about a week.
that's how I like it.
And I asked Doug for some copy for our promos so that we could put it out there to show who you are. And Doug responded pretty good, but I want you to tell everybody, encapsulize who's Nick North at this time in your life, because that's relevant.
Yeah. At this time in my life. I'm on the spot. All right. So I am a transgender dad, and I always like to add the transgender part first. And some people will be like, "Why do you care? Why can't you just be a dad?" And I'm like, because I have a slightly different experience as a dad, as someone who lived and was socialized and went through the world, living the first 30 years of my life as a woman. And I have the somewhat unique experience of having birthed 4 of my kids. And so I don't want to, I spent the first little bit of my, like, after transition life being like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. I just want to be like another dude like everybody else. And then I realized that part of my experience in life was just being erased that way. And it didn't feel good. And so I was like, no, if I'm going to do this, I'm all out. I'm all in, whatever way you want to say it. And I just decided that I was like, no, I am a trans dad. I'm a little bit different than the typical run of the mill dad, because I lived a different experience. Yeah. So I'm a trans dad.
So go ahead.
I'm sorry, Doug.
You go.
I can keep going.
He didn't fully answer my question, in my opinion. But outside,
I can keep going with the rest of who I am.
Literally, though, that's where it starts with you. That's where it starts. But there's so much more.
Yeah. So outside of that, I am a hobby farmer. I love my chickens so much. I am a hermit. I like that I live on just under an acre of rainforest on an island that only has 12,000 people in it. I like that by design. And I am a business and brand strategist. So the other thing that I love doing is just talking about what makes people do what they do. And then I take that like weird superpower that I have of having lived completely so much as a woman and having now lived completely as myself as a man, that like I can just see the world from all sorts of different perspectives, and I can see things before other people see it in a way that other people can't. And that is my business superpower. And so I do that with small businesses, founders, even some big companies sometimes, to go, okay, well, where are you leaving? Who are you? Why does it matter? Because it turns out that no one gives a shit about what you sell anymore, because someone else can sell the same thing as you just as well any given time, and they'll make something just as great. And even if it's not just as great, if they can market it better, they're going to sell it better anyway. So like, who are you? Why are you doing what you're doing? And like, I mostly work with self-employed people. So like, what is it that like, why did you say fuck all that other shit and you really had to do this thing on your own? Because like, that's what's going to get you business. That's what's going to make you kick some ass, is that stuff, not like we're priced to go compete, because otherwise all you're doing is competing on price and no one gives a shit what you're doing. So I'm pretty passionate about that. And then I do like a little bit of that influencer thing, but I do it in a really, I'm a bit of a snob about it. So I'm like, oh, Kraft, you want to write a book? Sure, I'll do that. You want to talk to me about a $500 post? I'm not interested. I'm like, I'm lucky because my real life world thing provides my income, that this gets to be this like fun thing where I get to like, I'm like, it's like I get to be like an artist. I'm like, oh, it's my release into the world. I get to write and like do, and like, I don't care about, and I like, if people like it or not, I care about like, did it feel good coming out of me? Did I heal somehow and sharing it? And so it's like a really weird line to walk, the whole influencer thing for me. So I'm part that. I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a hype guy. My like jam is helping other people find the thing that they actually like. They're like I call it their shame superpower, because it's like that thing that they think that makes them different, therefore it makes them shameful. It's like actually the thing that makes you different makes you beautiful.
Right.
And that is like, so I'm like the hype guy for the masses. I'm like, if I can hype you up, I am here for it. And then let me go hide in my hermited forest where no one talks to me. Thank you.
Doug, can I have one more follow-up?
Oh, I can, or you?
I just want one more follow-up.
Yeah, do that. Go, man.
Shut up for a while.
No, this is not about just me.
Nick, I have thankfully had a few transgender people in my life to school me on these issues as I've come up as a human. Because I will be the first one to admit, 20 years ago, I probably was like the people who, or I probably thought in a way, not probably, I kind of believe I remember thinking in a way that the people who I pretty much despise at this point think about transgender people. So I have evolved in a big way. I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just saying
Me too,
that,
bro.
yeah, okay.
I hated you too.
Right. And I don't want to act like I'm
worst.
like, yeah, I did something good. No. I just learned better than I was either taught or brought up, or what people say, and that this whole feel around us. So I just want you to expand on like, can you, I know you can, because I think I've seen one of your videos, you said something about it, but can you tell people what it feels like not to be 100% loving what body you're in, or what body you're projecting to everybody? Because I think that's one of the biggest things that people who don't quote get transgender stuff, as they say it, don't understand, is they think that, you just want to, the crazy things they think. Again, like I said, I used to think it, but it's really more about being happy in your own skin and who you are, and not at some point feeling that this is your authentic self. So can you express that and take as much time as you want? I know Doug doesn't care. Take an hour to talk about it. We'll love to hear it. So just I'll shut up and let you talk. But I think that's a really important aspect of it that I think mostly people who don't quote get people like you, they miss that
We're
human
scary,
part of it.
right?
Yeah.
All people hear, and
Right.
it's not anyone's fault. I mean, it is people's fault, but it's not one individual's fault. It's a systemic problem, right?
Yep.
If anyone wants to know about like how we've been trained in the media how to hate trans people, there's a really great documentary by Laverne Cox called
Okay.
Disclosure, and it's on Netflix. It's $3.99, and you can watch it, and it's great, and you can learn so much about like transphobia and racism hand in hand. It's about emasculating the black men. It's about which then is about hating trans women, specifically trans women of color who are murdered at like ridiculous rates, more than any other demographic of human on the planet. And it's all tied into all this stuff that we're taught, and then we're had it pushed on us, and then it goes through the media, and the media just perpetuates that. And so all we see are like, if you're trans, then you are either like the Silence of the Lambs guy who like probably wants to like eat your skin and wear it as a cape or something, which like even in the movie they're like, these are not transsexuals, the person says, and like even in the movie they're clarifying that this is not trans, but like yet that it still is what was pushed because of the narrative, right? We see trans women murdered on CSI. We see people lose their families. We see like Mrs. Doubtfire. That was like, one of my favorite childhood movies. And I'm like, oh, because I got to see someone live fully as a different gender, but like it was totally making fun of her and him. And it was a last resort, and it caused the judge to make him not be able to see his children at all. So like the things that I was taking in even as a child, being like, oh, like you should be afraid of who you are, were huge. And the first gay person I ever knew died of AIDS, and we all but I knew he died of AIDS, but everyone said he died of some sort of like strange rare cancer. And it was like even at 8 I knew that like, oh, who I am is going to kill me, and when it does, everyone will be ashamed of me and lie about it. And so there's so much messaging that we're picking up. It's just that none of us even know we're doing. And I knew that the adults in my life, I can look back and go, oh, that's not what they were trying to tell me. They weren't trying to tell me you should be you and celebrate you either, but they were definitely not trying to tell me that like you'll die of this and you'll be ashamed, because I don't know, maybe they were, but they didn't do it consciously anyway. But for me, I think, and I tell you that because you have to understand how much internalized transphobia there is, and how much fear there is around what would happen to me if I were myself. That until you can understand just how fucking scary that is, you can't understand how much desperation there is to live that life anyway. Right? If okay, if I come out and tell the world who I am, chances are I will be murdered, I will lose my family, I will be ridiculed and embarrassed and ashamed, and I will probably be houseless. Systemically, trans people have like a super high systemic houseless rate, and I will probably end up HIV positive, and I'll lose my job because who will hire a trans person? And then I'll die ashamed and alone. That is, and I had to be willing that like living who I in my body the way it was versus the way it is now, I had to be willing to say, I'm willing to be okay with all of those things happening in order to having a shot at living like this. Yeah, it hurt that much.
Man. That is not something as a straight white guy that I ever even have to contemplate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not insulting. I'm just saying, like,
yeah,
I can go through my life not ever having to confront that because I'm a middle-aged white guy that lives in the suburbs. It's
and as a black cis male, and we as black people have interesting. It's not directly close, but there are, again, we had James Brown singing "I'm Black and I'm Proud." We have a family. It doesn't seem to be. It seems like y'all are building now, and y'all are able to build in safe spaces. But there was really no cheering. Yeah, you're Black. Be proud of that. Like, I've had my weak moments of being a Black person for whatever reason via all kinds of white supremacy and all that. But there was never really a group or a lot of people where I could look around and have even artists singing it about be Black, be proud. I'm a Black proud motherfucker. Like NWA and all that stuff. Even there was a group that I felt was out there for me, even if I didn't see them every day. So you didn't have that at all, and I really suspect that you still don't have much because y'all are building. You know what I mean? Y'all coming together, and the internet has helped that, but the internet has also helped spread the hate. So I'm not sure if it's a plus or minus, but so
I mean, I think
sorry, Doug. I said that was my last comment, but
no, I love it.
My
This
last
is a
comment.
great space to go because it's sort of like, actually, it's a great transition because there's this TV show that I love. I watch it every Pride Month. It's called Pose. It's on FX. Yeah.
Look at that. He's jumping everything, dog.
Yeah, he jumping the shark. We do a whole segment with that.
Right.
But we didn't tell him that. That's okay, man.
We can wait and we can cut it in. I can tell it later. I can tell you why it
Hold on, Nick.
later.
No.
Right. We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
Okay. Right. No, but here it is, Nick. You wanted to talk about it, so I have it teed up, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but
I love this. This is making my life.
But you go right now. Here it is. It's on Hulu, right?
Yeah. Bam. There it is. So, Pose. Here's what happens. It is about ballroom culture from 1988 to 1998 in New York City. Right?
Beautiful.
I feel like
that's me
I can't
making
hear
noise.
anything.
Yeah,
that's me.
Okay, I just was like, wait a second, I can't tell. And
your head's like being blocked by the post.
Wait a second.
There we go. Block me.
No, block me. With the beautiful Black
noise, and then I couldn't tell if there was a thing. So that's Electra Abundance. She is the mother of the House of Abundance. And what I was going to say is, when it comes to creating family, this is what happened. We created ballroom culture, and it was basically black queens, the beginning of RuPaul's Drag Race and all that stuff. This is the history of that. It's where kids from all over the place whose parents kicked them out and they were homeless and they didn't have anywhere to go, they made their way to New York City, and then they would find a family, and you would find a house mother or a house father who would take these kids in from the street, and they would struggle and they would fight and they would claw their way through society. They would take care of each other. They would turn tricks and do what they needed to do and try and stay clean and try and stay alive and support and love each other. And they would create literally house families. And then they would have these ballroom, you'd get on the ballroom and you'd have a dance off or a Vogue off or whatever. And it's this whole culture of they'd come together every Friday night or whatever it was. I don't know. I don't think they said what day. Not care about details. And so they would come together and they would literally the categories would be beautiful bride, and it was they would come and they would get this moment to walk through the world as a beautiful bride, just this one moment, because the rest of the world didn't see them that way. The rest of the world spat on them and kicked them and punched them and used them and ridiculed them, and they came together in this one place as a family and created a safe space to be together. And then they literally took care of each other, and then they watched each other die through the AIDS pandemic, because it took 10 years for there to be any real movement on treating HIV and AIDS. And so in 3 seasons, you go through this whole arc of this story of what happens to the queer community and where did our elders go, and why don't we have this anymore? And like, most of this, it's a whole generation that was killed off, that was just let go. And it was, if you didn't live in New York City or San Francisco or a big city, you didn't have access to it anyway. And honestly, if you were white, you didn't get to be in the ballroom either. And probably because we had access to different privilege in different places that people of color didn't have. And so I think most of the white folks went to San Francisco, and like New York was this like ballroom mecca. And it's a really beautiful sort of like dramatic retelling of it.
So my wife actually watched the show. I did not have a chance to, and she really likes it. Actually, one of the things that I do know about that show is actually not even that show. It's one of the actors from that is Dominic Jackson was actually on an episode of House Hunters with their partner.
Ooh.
Which was very big because, like, while House Hunter is pretty good about having gay and queer people on,
Mm-hmm.
this was a trans person with their partner, and they were shopping for a house, and they were talking about creating generational wealth and things like that. Like that's been a real focus for them in their later seasons. It's just meeting people who's their first person in their house, first person in their family to buy a house. And just talking about, but that gets into a lot of other things, like he said, like systemic racism on top of the, with all the stuff against trans folks, especially now as we're gearing back up into that in this country for this shit.
Living the dream.
My wife was on here pre-production and asked Nick if she would sponsor us in Canada. So.
I mean, like, I'm thinking, I feel like if my own family, so my wife is American, and I'm like, to my in-laws, I'm like, you better take me up on this soon, because otherwise I'm going to start opening it up to others, Just saying.
We can just build our own little pad in your backyard.
Yeah, it's great. The joys of the rainforest.
Yeah. Hey,
all right.
Hey, could I jump in on a second beer, because I'm really excited about this beer too?
Yeah, hold on one quick. Let me jump on this quick.
Oh yeah, sorry. I jumped the shark on that. Sorry.
No worries. I just wanted to make sure Nick saw this comment.
Oh, my shelves. So these were built for our TV show. We did an HGTV show.
Yep.
Called Life Under Renovation. It's a 6-episode TV show. We are in episodes 2, 3, and 4, and these are reclaimed like rough milled cedar, 10-inch by I think 3-inch rough milled cedar, and they go all the way across. And then after the show, I added more in down here, these side ones. But
nice.
It's very exciting.
Nice.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
This is it, right, Doug?
Yeah, this is Life Under Renovation.
Okay.
Yeah.
We watched all those episodes, and we were rooting for you guys.
Yes.
Did you watch any of the other people?
Yeah, I actually, Will and Ross, we've kept in touch with them, and the producer Katie, we've kept in touch with her a lot. So it's been super fun. But they're really nice. Will and Ross were awesome.
Yeah, we really like that.
We were stick together.
Yeah, well, and then there was that one guy who was trying to renovate that house all by himself when his wife had to watch the 2 kids.
Yep.
And I was like, that guy's a loon. What are you doing? You don't even know how to do any of this stuff. And he's trying to renovate an entire ancient, like 1800s house. And he's not a carpenter or a contractor. He's just trying to do it all himself. And we're like, literally like, and his wife was like ready to leave. She was like, I'm done with this.
She did leave. She was like, I'm moving and I'm going away to my parents, and like took off for a while with the kids. I'm like, I don't know. We didn't ever get to know them. So
yeah, they were that was just something where that guy bit off way more than he could chew. And when you have little kids on top of it, like they tried to move him in, and like the house was like only a quarter done. So there was like,
and he was like really obsessed with these stairs that he like insisted on like redoing these stairs. He's like, well, we could just paint them and like fix them. He's like, no, we need to restore them. And they spent like $4,000 on restoring these stairs, and they had like a $20,000 budget. So
yeah.
But the show is
it's
TV
great.
magic. It's all TV magic, friend.
Yeah, and if you want to learn something about how modern blended families work, you got to watch Nick and Catherine bit because they have his ex-husband move in on the property with them to help raise their kids.
Yeah, he lived there for 18 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
so-
he lives in the people across the street have a guest house, so he moved into the guest house across the street instead. So we still live really close together, but across the street is better.
Yeah, it is. It's better. I remember
We needed
seeing
more
that.
space too.
Yeah. What did you do with the space that was there that you guys built for him? Is that just like
So
a mother-in-law?
well, it was
cottage?
always more for the teens.
Oh,
So two of
okay.
our teens share it.
Okay.
But don't
All
tell
right.
the internet.
Yeah, shh, we'll be quiet.
Right.
Yeah.
No one watches this. It's fine.
You really, Greg, if you haven't seen the show, watch it. It's really great to see how this works and seeing like
What show? This show?
Yeah, Life Under Renovation. You really should.
Okay.
do that.
Okay.
It's only
Episodes 2, 3, and 4.
Yep, episodes 2, 3, and 4.
Episodes 2, 3, and 4. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm not
What
taking
did-
Doug. I'm no longer taking Doug's suggestions for house hunters anymore. But that's
Yeah.
another story for another time. Doug loves that shit. He loves it. Not that I don't, but I thought I loved it more. But Doug loves it. Doug, that's your shit. dude. That's your jam.
It's background noise, and it's really good for that. That's what it's good for. So. Hey, not to segue in a weird segue, Greg, but I heard you open something. What did you open?
In a weird ass segue, I opened Crushberry
Ooh.
from some brewery in Iowa. That thing doesn't let me read really well. Lions Bridge Brewing Company in Iowa. This is another one. John got me. It's a kettle sour with blueberry. It looks pretty damn good sitting there.
Yeah. Hey, it's
Haven't
got a
had
nice
it
little
yet.
color to it.
Ooh, neato. I don't know. You see the can here, Doug?
Yeah,
I was like,
it's okay.
like you're not a beer drinker, but man, beers have gotten so I don't even know what the word is. I mean, there's a beer for every time, every situation. And these, we have these fruity beers that are just like fruit. This one's a little bit sour, Doug. It's a kettle sour.
Yeah, that's why it's a kettle souring that makes it a little more sour. So,
yeah, it's about as sour as your average ghost dog. A little, but nothing. You know that level of sour that is refreshing, but not like over sour-y. It's these ones that we want in the summer. Nice summer drinker. A little bit, again, a little bit heavy on the fruit. Kind of like Trix. It tastes like, I would say. Trix. Trix is pretty good.
yeah.
But as far as cereals go and all that, but I'm enjoying it. It's pretty good.
So I'm grabbing a one that was given to me by a friend when I was visiting Michigan. It is also a sour, blackberry sour bay.
Yeah, the sours are out.
Yeah, so this one is
They're
a
like
this is a sour ale made with mango and sea salt, according to the back there, 5.5.
mango, sea salt.
So we'll see how that is. I'm not generally a sour person, but that's got like purple.
And I got a plug too. Then, something that I saw on Nick's social media that I'm very happy with.
All right. Well, let me just show this off and check that out. Dirty glass. Woo!
That's pretty though.
Look at that color. That color is lovely, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got the raspberry super strong on the nose there. Okay.
Aaron's
That's
sour
sour,
and
but
a
not
bit
overly sour.
heavy.
It's a perfect
I
beer to
miss
have in
you,
a
Aaron.
toilet. Yeah, that is look at the head dissipated really quick. That's what she said.
That's pretty.
But yeah, very raspberry, and a little sour, but not tart at all. But not like overly sour like the kettle sours usually are. So this is very drinkable, really good for hot weather. So yes, I'm gonna refrain from commenting on that, Aaron.
I was gonna say, Doug, I really like to say that's what they said jokes these days, because I feel like then it can be like it's a little more feminist. It's like everyone's involved. We don't know who's given great head and dissipating quickly.
I was gonna say that.
That's my new rule because my son's really into it. He's like super into that's what she said jokes, and I'm like, listen, you have too many queer parents to be able to get away with that. So we made it. That's what they said jokes.
Right. I love it. Right. That's what they said.
Because
I
we're
got
sex
some.
positive. We're letting all the genders get it.
Let it.
Yes. And this is something I don't get. So y'all gonna have to help me, okay? And actually, Nick, you being from a different country and being from the North and wanting to say that all day.
Yeah.
I want to know what your opinion on this outrageous discussion is.
It is definitely a water fountain. I don't know what a bubbler is.
What the fuck is a bubbler?
I know what a bubbler is. We have them for our cats. It's something that bubbles the water for them to drink out of. But it's a water fountain? No, that's not a bubbler. I don't know what the hell came up with that.
A bubbler is not a water fountain. I don't know. This is a Wisconsin
I was like, is that like
thing.
a British thing?
It's definitely a Wisconsin thing. And then this is why I was making sure that you weren't all hooked up and hung up on this bullshit because Wisconsin does
no.
Wisconsin doesn't directly border Canada, but it should. If that makes sense.
They're similar. Yeah.
It's north. Actually, the one part Doug really comes close to Canada, but it actually doesn't. And yeah, so bubbler, they say it a lot around here, and I just don't understand it. April says they say it in New England. Yeah.
So
see, Doug, there you go.
And New England is Boston, right? That's the Boston
Basically.
area.
Well, Boston people tell you that it's all that's only
that's not true. But as a Canadian, am I allowed to think that they're basically around the same area?
Check Urban
Just wondering.
Somebody said check Urban Dictionary. I'm not checking Urban Dictionary for that. That's in my fucking. That'll be in my search history.
Look, it's a bubbler. I believe that, right? You don't have to understand it. You just have to accept it as true.
Spoken like a true Bostonian. By the way, my wife and I made the connection tonight that Bostonians are just Texans up north.
Oh.
Here we go.
That might be fighting words.
Probably will be.
Hey guys, it's good to be with you guys again on a Friday night. Cheers, April. Hopefully your event goes good. You have a July 4th event, I believe. I just saw today. So if y'all in the South Carolina area, again, check in on April and her beer, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so most people in this chat say bubbler. I don't.
Wait, Mike's a Texan, so he might be offended by me comparing him to Bostonians.
Right. I'm sorry, July 16th is April's event. And I believe that there's a check her Instagram, y'all. There's a raffle event tied to it too. So yeah.
I'm drinking a soda in case anyone's wondering.
Oh, let's see it. Let's see it. What kind?
Boylan?
It's a Boylan's birch beer.
That looks like a craft beer soda.
It is. I don't fuck around. If you're gonna drink the sugar, you're gonna get it good.
Yeah.
Right.
Get it straight from the tree.
Okay, so how do you say Massachusetts? Is that Massachusetts? Massachusetts?
Aaron, please tell us. Don't compare Massachusetts,
right? Massachusetts. I think I can say it. Massachusetts. Yeah, I said that right. I think.
Oh, we have a fan that likes those beers or those soda beers.
Those sodas.
Right.
Like sody pops.
Yeah, root beer is always.
You don't call it pop up there, do you?
Canadians call it pop. I personally call it soda.
It's soda.
Because I worked for Chuck E. Cheese for 7 years.
Oh no, that's like the worst thing about you ever.
I know. I used to be a new unit opener. So I used to travel around North America opening Chuck E. Cheese's.
What a horrible human being you are. You
I
literally
know.
spread that venom and poison to our kids.
Yeah, I did. I did. Then I ran away. Which is why people are like, how do you have 5 kids and you're okay? And I'm like, oh, like I worked at Chuck E. Cheese for 7 years. I'm fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like there's like 300 kids and it's fine. So like 5 is nothing.
That is like fucking chaos, because like you go in there with, like, I think I took my kid there twice and I was like, I'm never doing that again, because I'm gonna I'll have a heart attack at 30 instead of 50, and like that was just I don't know how. I think, does it get to be a point where it's just like fucking white noise in the background?
It's just white noise until someone says your name. It doesn't. Yeah.
Wow.
But like I can eat a lot of pizza because of that. I like pizza. It's still my favorite food.
Yeah, but the pizza, it was the breadsticks there.
Yeah, well, the pizza. Here's the thing: the Canadian pizza was better than the American pizza. It was different. All the food was completely different. Canadian pizza was where it was at, and I worked for Chuck E. Cheese when they had a little bit of a Canadian heyday, and they opened like 10 stores within like 7 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So mix that with the American stores. I mean, well, so there at one point there was 365 Chuck E. Cheeses in North America, which is a fucking lot of Chuck E. Cheeses.
Right. Right.
So
that's
one time in a Chuck E. Cheese, I could tell you fun Chuck E. Cheese stories. One time in a Chuck E. Cheese, one lady hit another lady in the face with a beverage tray, and I had to break it up. There was it was all over. It was the ball thing that you throw up there. I don't want to say foosball, but that's not right. Skee ball.
Skee ball.
I've had ladies have a fist fight because one wanted to spank the other one's kid. The things that you can.
No,
I once had a cop taser a dude in a Chuck E. Cheese while I was there, and I was like, "What's happening?"
Right.
I have had an employee arrested in the walk-in cooler of a Chuck E. Cheese for dealing coke. I have had it all.
Doug, I don't. That's why I said what I said to Nick, because I like Doug. Does everybody understand or know the undercurrent of Chuck E. Cheese is basically like ghetto city almost, and it doesn't matter where they're put. Like it could be in established, nice white neighborhoods. It could be literally in the ghetto. It could be middle-aged America. It's always drama.
In the lowest income have the highest sales. Chuck E. Cheese's in the lower income areas make the most money out of anywhere else. The white upper middle class white neighborhoods do terrible.
Right, but Nick, they're all magnets for drama. What do you have an explanation for that? Like, even again, no matter what they sell or how much, there's always, if you walk into Chuck E. Cheese, you better be ready to defend yourself.
Bro, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Right, I know. What is it? But Nick, you've opened these things, worked there for so long. You know what I mean? Is there something that I'm missing that makes it? Is it the kids? Is it the parent? Like, is it the parents or the interaction with the kids? Or
I think
what
I know.
That makes it so? It should be a happy place, and it's such
It should be a happy place. Right?
It's a negative place. It's weird.
Okay, there's a few different things that are happening. One, it's either it should be this happy place, but I am working really hard to afford this. And so there's so much pressure on this one fucking 3-hour afternoon that it better go fucking perfect. Because do you know what I'm giving up for this? Because like you're ready to throw down like $100 to $200 for 3 hours of Chuck E. Cheese, right?
Yeah.
And so it's either that like this is our one treat, so you better fucking love this and it better go perfectly. And the stress that it has to go perfectly is so high. Or it's the people that are like, yeah, I just throw down a couple $100 every week to come here so I don't have to fucking parent my kids. When those two people overlap, shit gets wild. Because this uptight person over here who's like, they fucking work 3 overtime shifts for this. They gave up so much so they could have this experience with their kid that was going to be wicked and awesome. And then there's like the other person who's like, I just come here so I don't have to parent. Get out of here, Junior. Fuck off. Like the things I have seen.
Right.
Like I watched kids grow up at 7 years at Chuck E. Cheese, you know,
right. Right. Chuck E. Cheese is always drama. It always is, and I'm glad my kids are old enough to be out of it, dog.
Mm-hmm.
I
Me
can't
too.
do
Yeah.
it anymore. Doug,
Mike,
you had a couple questions before, and I didn't let you get in. Do you remember any of that shit?
No, the Chuck E. Cheese thing was captivating because that, again, it's something that like people don't realize that there's actually a behind the scenes bit to that because they just go there and it's fucking chaos and they don't realize that, oh yeah, that place has to be run. And like
Bro, when I opened Chuck E. Cheese's for a while, and then I got married and settled down, and I was the general manager of a Chuck E. Cheese. It's the most bank I ever made. I made so much money at that Chuck E. Cheese. It was stupid. I bonused more than my salary every month because I lived in a place where people had disposable income and they didn't want to watch their kids. And it talk about a family. You then are hiring a bunch of them, like teenagers, and then a bunch of like sort of like mini moms and dads that are like, they're not quite like, they're like stay-at-home parents whose kids have gone back to work, who then or back to school, and like they're like the daytime employees, right? So you end up having this like little mini family within a Chuck E. Cheese. It's like there could be a documentary made. Like, do you all watch Superstore? Have you ever seen that show?
No, my wife watched
It's like
that.
basically like The Office, but like
Meets like Walmart.
Meets like Walmart, and essentially there could be a whole show on the life and going ons of a Chuck E. Cheese. The people that got married that worked there together, the like secret love affairs, the like just all of it. The guy that got arrested because he impregnated a 13-year-old, but he was the manager, but then he went to jail, but then he showed up at the birth. Like literally, I'm telling you, it's the craziest place it ever was.
Okay. Well, you're reaffirming that to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Aaron Gavay made the comment he'd watch a Chuck E. Cheese Fight Club TV reality show, and I'm like,
Yes.
so would I. I would totally watch that shit.
For the writers in the house, who wants to write a script together?
All right, I do have a Chuck E. Cheese question.
Okay.
Here we are.
Because
who knew we were going to be here?
Nobody did, and this is
I
why our
was
show fucking is
responsible
great.
for choreography of many of the dances. Yes.
Yeah. I had no doubt about that. My question is, the rumor is always that the ball pits are fucking like filled with shit and piss. How true is that?
That's why they got rid of them.
Mm.
Yeah, because they're just.
It had to be a cesspool, and I just.
Before I worked at Chuck E. Cheese, I worked at another kid's place because apparently I'm like a type. I don't know. And so only for like 3 months, and they had a ball pit, and I've pulled pocket knives, I've pulled a lot of drugs, I've pulled a lot of money, I've pulled condoms at least the condoms were in the wrapper still. People lose a lot of things in ball pits. Just whatever's in someone's pockets are now in the ball pit.
Mm. And in the shit and piss too, apparently. But yeah.
Yeah, but they only opened it. Like they only would clean it every 2 weeks. A company would come in and they would suck all the balls out into this and then they would spit all the balls back out later.
They would suck all the balls out.
Yeah, just like that, exactly. One after another. It just kept taking them, endless.
Oh,
we're way off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love this show. I really do love
this
because it's just so freaking great.
Right.
Yes, this isn't even one of the top 5 worst things in the ball pit. It's not.
Of all the interesting things about Nick North,
which isn't the one you thought you were going to be at.
No.
Right, and we're spending a lot of really interesting time here, dog.
Hey, when have we ever had anybody who could talk about this?
What, Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah, nobody would have been talking about the
I was
back
on the
end
inside
part of this.
Y'all crazy.
On the inside.
Yeah.
They went bankrupt, so now I can talk about it. I think that's how that works, right?
Greg's gonna walk off camera. Fuck this.
Oh man! My sleeves up, so I'm ready to talk. Now that we've warmed up.
Oh, we do. Man, I almost feel bad trying to go back to a serious subject.
We might not have any alternative, Greg.
Well, I just want everybody to me researching Nick this week found me on his YouTube page with his family and the different skits that y'all have done. Doesn't seem like y'all have done anything recently. Not a slam, just more of a observation. It actually seems like everyone is like 2 years, so it seemed like that's another casualty of the pandemic. I'll let you talk about that. But the point, it's not really even a question, but I'll let you talk about where you're at content-wise on that. Because I kind of called you out, but I didn't really mean to call you out. I was just talking about it. But in block circles, though, in block circles, it's like, you haven't posted in 2 years, dog. And then, like, you as a blogger immediately gets, like guilt that like the other person really didn't mean to put on you, but you're like, damn, I didn't. So, anywho, I don't care whether
I have a
it's
good
2
reason
years.
for it, actually.
Yeah, and I don't care if it's 2 years or 200 years. Your videos about explaining the transgender life and explaining specifically how to talk to people about it and how to frame these conversations, to me, I know you're not here and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I know you're not here for compliments, but that's the most important work that I've seen that you do. On a serious note, because out of all of it, and you do a lot, and you speak out a lot, and it's great, and it's brave, actually. And I'm going to acknowledge that. But also, I need to acknowledge that those conversations that you have, I need to pull it up while you talk. Again, specifically about how parents navigate this is as a father, these are hard questions to answer. And I think that fuels a lot of the, not even hate, maybe, sometimes, Nick, as you know, hate is the extreme, but ambivalence could be even worse. And then that stops these conversations from happening. And if these conversations can happen, it would just make a better world for everybody because there would be more understanding. I think some parents even have the problem even starting the conversation. So that's a big step for people. Should it be? No. Is it easier for some of y'all out there looking right now? Yes. Is it harder, though, for a lot of people? It is, because they don't have the answers. They don't have a Nick North in their life saying, hey, where you can, I just met you minutes ago, but you are very, very, the word is, what's the word when people, you're very, very approachable. And I feel safe asking you that without feeling like an asshole. And I think that's what there's a really good, well-meaning group of people who, again, have hard time making that leap to have this conversation. So if you go on Nick's YouTube, I'm probably speaking from experience, but I'm not, because I've had this conversation with my boys, and I started the whole thing, y'all, by saying, I don't know anything. So, but I want y'all to know more than me when I was your age, which I didn't know anything. So I can just form negatives and then just run with that. And that's fine until I meet a Nick North or Jessica Jones. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay.
Y'all are real people who aren't so fucking scary. You're cool. Right.
And you're not as confused and dumb and whatever, all these things that just get put on y'all for no reason other than just ignorance, really. And I don't mean it even in a negative way, because there's just nothing out there. So to me, that's the best thing that you do, in my personal opinion. I hope those videos will live forever. I will start sharing them on my social media probably this weekend, and liking them and all that stuff. I just think it's just totally invaluable. And there's no comment or question there. You can just once I'm done talking, you can just go. I can ask you a question, but I just had to make that comment because that was the thing that moved me the most initially from you. I got more to go, but you got a lot of content.
Yeah, I think it is. So thank you. The YouTube channel sort of died when we made the TV show. And funny enough, when we did the contract for the TV show, the thing that happened that we fought about with, that we like went back and forth, it wasn't about anything other than we wanted to own our story still. We wanted to be able to continue to tell our story while we made the TV show. So we did a lot of fighting with the contract to be able to continue to tell a story while we were on our own Instagram, while we were on our places, blah, 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 that they didn't own any of our story. That was like our big thing. And then we made a TV show, and the way that we made the TV show was that they sent us a producer, videographer, director guy, Peter Wall. He was amazing. And they sent us a kit of iPhones. And then they were like, and GoPros. And they were like, every 3 days, mail this shit back to us. There'll be a new kit that comes to you every 3 days. Go make a fucking TV show. And that was it. And so in making them a great TV show, we forgot to film anything for ourselves. Even though we retained the right to, we just fucking, it was too much. And it was, the biggest thing our lawyer told us was, don't stop making content. Don't stop making content. Don't stop making your own content. And what did I fucking do? I immediately stopped making content of my own.
Do you think that was intentional?
I think it was that I was so focused on wanting to do a good job to take, because I'm socialized female, that I needed to do a good job for everyone else, to not let the show down, life under renovation, Roberto, to not let the show down, to not let whatever down. I had to do such a good job for everyone else that I didn't put myself first. Yeah. And that is like, that's like a flaw that I have forever, that I'll work. That's like my big, like, oh, I would give you my own oxygen mask and then die on the ground being like, you should put it on. Like, I am that guy. And that is my, like, the balance of that is something that I will always, because generosity and kindness and bravery are my, like, those are my keywords. And so because I'm like, well, I always want to be generous, I always want to be kind, and I always want to be brave. And so that means sometimes giving your oxygen mask away, I think, maybe. I don't know. The balance is hard. Anyway, I just fucking stopped making content. And then I didn't know how to start it back up again. And then I got in my head of like, well, my YouTube content wasn't doing as amazingly. And, you know, the numbers are better over here. And what's this? And like, I hate editing video. And so I would like pay someone to do it. And like, literally, I still have a retainer with that person. That's just like, there's like $200 sitting there that I just haven't used, that maybe is expired now. I wouldn't expect her to hold on to it forever. But like, I just am like, oh, it's just like this one, it's like the wall of awful to like put it out there, because I'm a brand person who cares that like, it still looks nice and that it has good lighting and that the words come across at the right time. But I also don't care about the details. This is my own perfectionism has gotten in my head, and 2 years later, here we are.
What a freaking thing. And it looked
but
like
even
really,
Nick North.
Yeah, really seemed really super intense, because like I remember seeing all the freaking hoops you had to jump through, and like you guys kind of bought that house, not sight unseen, but only seen online, right?
Mm-hmm. We had never seen it in real life. We flew over this island on a romantic vacation, my wife and I, and she said, what are those? Who gets to live there? And I was like, oh, these are the Southern Gulf Islands. And then I met, like a month later, I met Julie Knoll, hashtag Dad 2.0. What's up?
Yeah,
fam?
Julie.
And Julie was like, oh, I live on this little Gulf island called Salt Spring Island. And I was like, shut the fuck up. And then we came.
She's like, don't swear at me like that.
That's probably what she said, actually. And then Julie and I became friends. We were like, fuck it. We were talking about moving to Victoria. My ex was laid off of his job because he worked in new home construction, and that basically ended and died in Calgary. And so he didn't have a job. And we were like, why the fuck do we live in the most conservative place in the country? He's also gay, so he's like, we're all queer. Why do we live in the most conservative place in the country instead of like a more liberal place? So we decided we were going to move out west. Then we were like, fuck it, let's move to Salt Spring. We came and visited, just Catherine and I, for one weekend in October, and it rained the whole fucking time. And then we bought a house sight unseen on the internet before even taking our kids here. And
Yeah.
it was the very last house under $600,000. And we just bought it because we got outbid on all the other houses that we were bidding on. And we were like, well, all right, it's now or never.
It's funny.
And it worked out.
Yeah, thinking about that price range. Whoa. That hurt.
Yeah.
We're there here, Doug. You know that.
Yeah, we're not like that here, Brian.
No.
Yeah.
Not you specifically, but we are here in America in this time frame, market wise, as far as not overpaying, but people literally making, not walking in the house and putting bids on. We are so much there, Nick. Now,
yeah,
it is wild.
Yeah,
I
think I read that the average house in America, the average now is like $400,000. That's the average.
I mean, you can't buy a house in LA proper for under $1 million. You can't buy a house in San Francisco proper for under
$1.5
$1.5 million. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, as Roberto, he lives there. Jesus.
Yeah. So, and honestly, we got lucky that we bought when we did, because the prices have increased 30 to 40% here since then, because there has been an exodus from Vancouver. It's only like an hour and a half ferry from Vancouver. So if you work in a big city and now you work from home and you only have to go into the office a couple times a month, it's not a big deal to take the ferry in.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So yeah,
but we don't have a housing crisis or anything.
No, not here either. Definitely here. So we bought it sight unseen, and then we got here, and my wife immediately cried. It was way jankier than we thought it was going to be. It was falling apart in ways we thought it was not going to be. It was like, so our sunroom, we moved in, and like we were like, oh, there's no front door to this house. You literally go through like a screen door into a sunroom, into a door that goes into the kitchen, or a sliding door that goes into the dining room. And we're like, okay. So the screen door, 3 days into living there, the rot on the sunroom deck was so bad that it was falling off the house, so that the front door didn't open or close anymore. It just was like stuck always a little bit open. And so like the house was just falling apart. We had a kid fall through a deck. It was mostly for TV. I actually fell through the deck in real life, but then for TV, anyway. So maybe I wasn't supposed to tell you that. Anyhow.
Holy shit. That's rent. That's rent.
That's rent. Right.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Right. So quickly, I just want to jump back at a comment that a lot of stuff was going on, but Doug wants to highlight it, and so did I, because I started. But I said that you were approachable, Nick. And we go get Vea says very approachable. First, Nick and I presented at the conference. My social battery was drained, and I was panicking, looking for an exit. I've been here personally. Told me to train his dad, and thanks for my presentation. Told me we're friends now. Asked for a hug. And I was moved to tears. And he's a non-hugging curmudgeon. He is.
He is a non-hugging curmudgeon, but I hug that motherfucker anyway. I'm like, get over here, you big Papa Bear. I'm gonna hug the fuck out of you.
The world needs more.
You can't
Nick
be
and
a
I
grouchy
agree with that
motherfucker on to me. I win.
Right. We've all Doug and I, well, I've always said Aaron Govea just needs a little love, and he's great. Great. Aaron Govea is a great guy. I'll cheers to Aaron. You won't, Doug, but I will.
Aaron. Hey, I love Aaron. Aaron and I rumble a lot about dumb stuff.
Yeah, you do.
But I love that guy. He's a great guy. He is a curmudgeon.
But
so you
besides his asshole,
you have to get past the asshole part, and then you get to the really nice part of Aaron, and then he's not so bad.
He's like a good sourdough, like a really crunchy exterior and like that soft, interior. I'll put a little butter on there. It's good to go. A little honey to sweeten it up.
Oh, butter. Yeah, I wanna.
Yeah.
Nick, are you an ends guy? Do you need to have the ends?
No.
Okay. I do.
Because there's
why? I have a delicate mouth.
There's always one asshole, Doug, who has to steal the ends before anybody fucking gets there. I got 2 of those in my house. So it's a struggle, Nick. I'm on a struggle bus with it. I'm not like, I don't want the end
You know
all
what?
the
At my
time.
house, you could have always have the end. No one wants it.
Oh, really?
We call them the butts.
Yeah.
I don't always want them, but when I do
But when
want
you
an end,
do-
it's never available. Right. Ever. Ugh. So anyway, speaking of TV, did anybody catch this week's The Orville?
I have never
No
watched
idea.
this show.
Nick, no?
No, that's
Cool.
who's the guy from Family Guy? Seth MacFarlane.
McFarlane, yeah.
That's his shit. That's his show, kind of a riff on Star Trek, I think. So.
It could
Now
be a
I'm
heel
being
too, Aaron.
scolded here. It's not
We
the
also
same
call it,
thing.
my wife calls it the heel. We call it, the kids and I call it the butts. She calls it the heel. She's more classy, like Aaron.
Right.
Yeah, Aaron's classy. That's exactly how I would describe Aaron. Classy. Oh man.
Hey, he can wear a plaid shirt like no one's fucking business.
That is a true statement.
This is true. So, Nick, I don't know if you've seen any kind of craziness that we've done this before, but we like to show videos. You saw the one at the top. I don't know if you have any comments on that or if you want to. That was a Wyoming debate.
Wyoming Republican debate. Let's make it clear. It was only Republicans.
Wyoming Republican debate, I think for Liz Cheney's seat because she was.
Yeah.
I don't think America gets a birthday party there. I say no.
I agree.
It doesn't
I
deserve
agree.
it. It hasn't behaved.
Well, I'm gonna piss some of y'all off, but I've renamed it Genocide and Slavery Day. So
Today is July 1st here in Canada, and we don't actually celebrate Canada Day either. We wear orange and we give to Indigenous rights instead, and know what land we are on and whatnot. I'm on the land of the Salish and Hulkamina speaking people, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, you mentioned that on your site. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And any pushback on that? Because you should leave the country and go back to where you came from, Nick.
Well,
because that's what they tell us down here.
There is a little bit of, I think that Canadians are sort of like Americans, where we're a little split, where some people are like, no, but we should feel so proud because we have healthcare and we have abortion rights and we have these things. We should feel proud to be Canadian. But the truth is that we do have those things. We just only have them accessible to a certain class of people. And those are often not accessible to Indigenous people. You know, we still don't have clean drinking water for a large population of Indigenous people. We still have food deserts for Indigenous people. We have still are actively, breaking treaties and trying to put oil lines in their land. And if we look at even just what the day is founded on, we know that over 10,000 children have been recovered from unmarked graves at residential schools in Canada that were meant to rid Canada of the Indian. And so that's what this day is celebrating, is the founding of this land, which was taken from people who were lied to and then were created terrible realities for, and then we murdered them all. And so I'm like, I don't fucking know. I mean, it doesn't feel like a good day to me, but
no. And I will add that that's how Canada was found. America was found, though, on the idea of rebellion and being able to express your rebellion, but at the same time, either being proud of your country or just being able to work for a better accord. So these motherfuckers who say, go back to where you came from. First of all, I'm from here. So if I had to go back to where I came from, it would be Philly. That's where I would have to go.
Yeah.
Because that's where I fucking came from. So, but also, though, you missed the point about America being a place where, again, we can have discourse and we can have, people saying things and wanting a better product, but also dissent. That's what America's supposed to be about. So me calling it Genocide and Slavery Day, how about we do better going forward? And then maybe I won't feel like calling it Genocide and Slavery Day, because that's how it began, y'all. White supremacy, genocide, and slavery. This is how it all began. The religious zealots in our country want to say, oh, it's a Christian nation. It was started with Christian values. Okay, so
but that's because Christian values are taking care of men taking what they want.
Right. Well
all
again,
over the place.
if Christian values start with genocide, slavery, if that's where the Christian values start, then you are correct. If Christian values are not that, then we got issues you saying that all this started with Christian values, because I really hope that Christian values aren't that, but I don't know. I'm not trying to get on a religious rant here, but
the history of things that is back then, those were Christian values. I'm not saying that's what today religion and Christianity is. I know that lots of people have a spiritual relationship with whoever they have, and they have a lot of different beliefs, and we can't brush everyone with the same motherfucking stroke brush, whatever. But it was like the Crusades were like a fucking time in history that, like, that's history. That is what that shit was about.
Right. And
so I don't know.
We need to acknowledge it, Nick. We can't just be, I know you know, but acknowledging is half the battle, y'all. Whitewashing it and acting like it didn't happen is not anybody's battle, and it's cowardice, and it's alarming. It's really, really hateful for people who don't follow, who aren't white and old and, straight and, who wants, what? I mean, what is it that, Doug? The average American owns, 72 guns or some bullshit like that. And then you have people like us who don't own any guns. So then that's how we get to where we're at. Anywho, I wanted to show a damn video, and somehow I got on.
Show the video, please.
I wanted to show a damn video, and somehow I got on Slavery and Genocide Day. But that's where we're at.
That just means we care.
Involuntary relocation, right? That's slavery.
That's the shit they're doing and trying to change slavery.
Right. Oh, great! Here's Greg playing the race card again. Slavery was a long time ago.
Oh.
Love it. And again, old white dudes. What the fuck?
I got it right here. You're gonna regret it. Got this? Ready? Yeah. I want that truck off my lawn. Keep doing it.
Well, he's really ruined those shoes.
Oh yes, please let him get stuck. And the guys are like, fuck him, I'm not helping him. Fuck him.
Call the cops. These two flat big tires don't mind stuff. Everything all right? Does everything look all right, you dumb fucker? I want that truck off my lawn. got no problem. What are you taking pictures for?
I ain't got no problem. I'm just beating the shit out of your vehicle and stomping through the work you just did.
Nick?
I just want to be like, but what about your shoes, bruh? Those shoes are dead now. That's such a waste. But why is he? Whose truck is on whose lawn? I don't understand old white people. You know, it's really hard when the whole world has been made as your default playground, and then all of a sudden everyone else gets to use the equipment.
That is a fucking great analogy, Doug.
Right?
That is amazing. And another angle is, I don't know if y'all hearing what I'm hearing outside my door, but I'm hearing fireworks. So let's talk about this real quick. What is, I want the comments, y'all in the comments, light up the comments, please. Tell me, what is the proper etiquette for these fireworks? Is this, so America Day is Monday. Is Friday available? I am 9:30. It's 9:30 at night. This motherfucker started this at 9. So where's the etiquette, North, Nick North? Where do you like fireworks, first of all? And I saw the body language is not good there, Doug. And so then, if you don't or you do, when is the proper etiquette for this? As far as like, when is it cool to do it?
So this is the problem, is that the teenage boy in me is like, of course I fucking love fireworks. Who doesn't want fireworks? Like, I like to blow shit up. The teenage boy in me is like, yeah, and like, remember when we were kids and we had bottle rockets and we would like shoot fireworks at each other's cars while we were driving? No, anyone else do that? That was just me. I did that. Bottle rockets were a good time. But like, that's like where it should stay, you know? Like when you're a teenager and you're doing dumb shit. I don't see the like need for it any other time. It should be these like illegal things that you like have to drive across the border and get it from some trailer on like that you have to pay cash only, and like it was like a whole situation, and like you know, I don't know. It shouldn't just be like accessible everywhere, because then you just got a bunch of idiots setting things on fire.
That's usually a bunch of idiot things setting stuff on fire is what America is. We just are a bunch of idiots setting shit on fire.
But I also live in a forest with a bunch of hippies. So now the neighbors would be like, you're going to cause a fire. We're going to kick you out. Get out of here. Because they're just like, I live in a world of old hippie people. It's great. They go for so many fucking walks. There's so many things to talk about with old people. Actually, the person that lives across the street from me, her job before she retired was she was a Russian land missile expert, and she was last stationed in Derby. And now she's a fucking gardener lady, little British lady who you would never think. So I live on with the coolest fucking people.
Oh man,
Fireworks should be illegal like bodily autonomy. Exactly.
Just like Thomas Jefferson intended.
If you can tell me what to do with my uterus, then you know I should be able to get my fireworks. But if my uterus is off limits, so should fireworks.
Right.
And there's people also, there's also like the idea of like, if you have dogs, some dogs are fucking terrified of fireworks, and it's not a great time.
Or if you have like complex PTSD because the government sent you off to war that you shouldn't have gone to. Maybe those people,
maybe
throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's been a lot more
fireworks.
There's been a lot more complaining about fireworks in these recent years. And I just think people are just being assholes generally. I don't think people are being insensitive because, people have dogs and babies, and there's all kinds of, you got to work in the morning. There's all kinds of things that are inconsiderate.
But then the other part of me, sorry.
No,
you got a glitch.
No. You go. I was just saying is this another way for people to be inconsiderate and not understanding of other people whether they have jobs, dogs, babies. Like don't be excessive about it. I don't know. I don't. But again, I don't feel this country's even worth the money for fireworks at this point. Maybe it would be nice if you would send that off to a good charity, and they could actually do something to work to make this place a better place, as opposed to just firing off rockets and polluting the air. But you do you. It's America.
Mm-hmm.
So what were you going to say, Nick?
I was going to say, I have all these thoughts about them, but then I also am like, but maybe I'm just being the grouchy old guy who's like, don't burn down the trees and save the rainforest, and it's polluting and our feelings. And like, I wonder if sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I should be a little more open-minded other ways. But I think mostly it's just people that aren't thinking. It's just sort of what you're saying. Is that it's just people that aren't thinking.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is the idea that, so most folks, I think, actually are kind of probably like fireworks, man, take them or leave them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, have you ever been at a fireworks show and been like, man, that was awesome. I'm going to remember that, because you never do. Unless something goes catastrophically wrong. Then you remember it, but otherwise.
You know what? In Calgary, we have the Calgary Stampede, and they do a great fireworks show at the end of the Stampede. Mm-hmm. And it's like probably like $100,000 fireworks show at the end of this, like every single night for 7 days. Mm-hmm. But even if you don't go to Stampede, you could just like go downtown and sit on a hill and watch the fireworks, or like stay in many places, just stay in your house and do it. And I do think that like as a kid, my kids have seen that and will be like, remember the fireworks at Stampede? And that I'm like, okay, like, so maybe I'm behind fireworks in like an organized way, like as a celebration, if like a place were to get a permit for it and like people were to band together and create like with the right safety things in place. And like, cause like they have paramedics on, they have firefighters on stand, like everyone knows what's happening for safety wise, because it's like planned ahead and you have to get permits and stuff. So maybe I like fireworks in that context.
That makes sense. Greg, third beer, man. What you got? I see it.
Brown from Prairie Street Brewery in Rockford, Illinois.
Like the Rockford Files?
Like the Rockford Files. And you don't see many brown ales.
Not that dark. That's really dark for a brown ale.
Yeah. Lady of the house went on a little trip to little getaway for a weekend or midweek-ish, and went to a brewery and brought this back home. Very tasty. I opted for this over the IPA, Doug, if you can believe it. But not too many times you see, well, IPAs are everywhere, and not too many times you see a brown ale.
True.
So it's drinking nice. Very roasty, chocolate notes. The
Rockford peaches.
Yeah. Rockford peaches.
I had a League of Their Own. There was a League of Their Own reference, and my heart was won forever to Chris.
Oh man.
Yeah, so pretty good, Doug. I like it. Got a 4-pack. I'll be enjoying that. Let's see here. What is this?
Golden Drock Quad. I always see their golden ale and their triple. I have not seen their quad out in the wild. So
Nick, I don't know if you're going to stick around for the after show, but when Doug drinks quads, it gets crazy around here.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's been rather muted so far. So a little quirk, actually.
What do you mean, today or just recently?
Yeah. No, I've just been joking. So.
Oh, okay.
He's like, no, it's been off the wall. Shit's been real.
But as with most Belgians, look at that fucking head just pour right the fuck out.
There you go. There you go.
They said.
With the delirium tremens. It almost looks like Flemish. Look how red it looks.
Yes. Nice glass, too.
Yeah, well, matching the style for Tulip for the Belgian style. So, yeah.
Look at you get all fancy for Nick.
I like that you're pulling out the fancy stuff for me. Like, I got my best glasses out.
Yeah. Oh,
I'll roll another joint for the team.
Doug, is it a liquid fruitcake?
No, it's not quite that sweet. Quads can be quite sweet, but usually they're really heavy. This is 10.5, so that's a lot of alcohol in that bottle. And unfortunately, it's a fucking big ass bottle.
Yes,
beard focused only fish.
Right.
That is a reference that Chris and my podcast partner Jay had a conversation because the amount of money we have spent this week on our kids has been fucking insane. So I'm like, he's like, maybe dude, it's been worse than what it was earlier this month. So
that's why I'm like, there was that story from
yeah, it was worse. So anyway, this is why I grabbed this bottle because I think I've earned it after this week.
Yeah, but Doug, they said the older your kids get, the less you spend on them.
Oh, that's
bullshit.
That's a lot of horse shit. You spend a lot of smaller amounts when they're little. When they're older,
okay,
they might get less things, but everything is fucking way more expensive.
Kayak camp's $1,100 fucking dollars, and you're like, how expensive can rowing on the open water be?
Apparently, a lot, right? So yeah, cheers, folks, because I'm gonna drink that whole fucking bottle.
Only beers.
This is how I have to buy the discount weed.
Right. I absolutely love that Nick is smoking. So among the many things I've copped tonight to being transphobic when I was young. It's just the truth. I was homophobic when I was young. It's just the truth. I've learned to be better, and I'm striving to be better, and that's the truth too. But what I didn't know is how good of a person that Mr. Rogers was. I really had no fucking idea. And this is probably going to get flagged because it was played somewhere or something, Doug. But I don't really give a shit, and I hope Nick doesn't. Because what happens, Nick, is when it gets flagged, sometimes they're just like, well, we're not going to show your whole video. So then, your word doesn't get out, and we don't actually get to plug you in a way that we want to. And yes, I said
I'll
that.
come back.
And y'all can take that in the comments and run with it.
At least you didn't say peg him in a certain way, so that's good.
Like you just did.
Hey, I'm on my first bit.
No one here is yucking anyone's yum.
That's true. And listen, I'm just starting this quad, so wait till the end of the quad because I'm gonna be saying some really fucking off-color shit. So get ready.
And luckily, we have Fred Rogers to clean our palate, Doug.
A little bit, little verbal sorbet.
Oh, yeah, Fandango.
Oh, there's Officer Clemens. Hi, Officer Clemens. Come in.
Rogers, how are you?
Fine. Why don't you sit down?
Oh, sure. Just for a moment.
It's so warm. I was just putting some water on my feet.
Oh, it sure is.
Would you like to join me?
It looks awfully enjoyable, but I don't have a towel or anything.
Oh, you share mine.
Okay.
Sure.
Around the country, they didn't want black people to come and swim in their swimming pools. And Fred said that is absolutely ridiculous.
Today, trouble under a noon sun. Negroes and white rabbis marched to a segregated hotel with these results. Manager James Brock told them to get off his private property, tossed cleaning chemicals inside the pool in an effort to get the Negroes to leave.
My being on the program was a statement for Fred.
Cool water on a hot day.
Look at the face that he made at the end. Did you see Mr. Rogers' face? It's like, motherfuckers.
Yeah. That's his fuck you face.
Fred. Yep. And just the idea that look at his face at the end. See that right there? That fucking face. Fuck you, motherfuckers. Goddamn. Mr. Rogers was he was a nice dude, but he was also like a Green Beret or some shit. Like he was like a real badass in war. And he wore all the sweaters because he had a bunch of fucking military tattoos and didn't want kids to be afraid of him.
Chris, tell us more. That's a documentary?
Yeah, there's a documentary about him and his social justice stuff. And I never watched it because if I watched that, I would do exactly what he's just saying there. I'd probably cry like crazy.
So, Doug, the documentary is not the movie on him, right? That's two different things?
No, two different things.
Okay. So the movie is fiction-ish or not. You know what I mean? They Okay, and that's
Fictional
one I
history.
believe that's on HBO Max or something. It's out there, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers is okay. Cool. I've never seen that before. I was moved by that. It was on Reddit. Like I'm Doug is the resident TikTok guy. I'm the resident Reddit guy. Some days I literally sit on it all afternoon and just go through the videos and just laugh, cry.
Yeah, I don't do that.
All kinds of emotions. Doug sits on TikTok all the damn time. So anyway,
I'm an Instagrammer through and
okay.
through.
So you're Instagram. All
Instagram
right.
is my space. Yeah.
We all have our introverted people watching channels. How about that?
Yeah, and I feel like Instagram is like where I've created a whole community.
Okay.
And that
Like,
is where
those are my people.
but that's where you've done a lot of your videos about like some of the best content that I've seen from you, besides your chicken stuff, because I fucking love the chicken stuff. That always makes
A
me
lot
happy.
of my reels are all like sort of things like, how do you come out? What do you say to your kid when they come out? What do you say? How do you ask someone what their
and
how do you
talk to a
like
trans
ask them what their
person.
pronouns are if you think that they've changed? That's someone that you've known for a while. How do you ask that person? I do a lot more of that stuff there because
Right.
I can do it in a shorter amount of time, which is that it's that wall of awful of getting over on the Instagram or the YouTube. However, I understand that the truth is that the shitty thing with Instagram is that once it's like past your 9 tiles, no one gives a shit. It's dead. It's done. Where with YouTube, the search function allows it to be there forever. So I probably oh yeah, I should go back to YouTube is like a good point. That's
Gotcha. All. Okay. So, all right. So y'all need to follow him Instagram.
Instagram's where I play. Yep.
Yeah, is that do you do that under Epic Danger?
Not anymore. I've gone to We the North across the board because no one knew what Epic Danger was.
Yeah, and also, don't you have a child with the? Well, wait, maybe I shouldn't say that. But do you have a child?
I have
named
2
Danger?
of my 5 kids so all my kids, their middle names. So, Danger, Epic, Wild, and Mayhem are the ones that I birthed. And then Adventure was like, well, fuck this shit. I want a great middle name too. And so she chose the middle name Adventure. And
So you allowed them to pick their own middle name then?
No, well, I gave them their middle names originally.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's what I their names are like. I birthed them and I was like, this is your name, Epic. And Danger came first. And then some kid was like, you should totally name your kid Danger. That would be fucking epic. This kid that worked for me. And I was like, yeah, no, that would be fucking
So
epic.
was he a fucking surfer? Like, that'd be epic.
That'd be fucking epic. He was a pothead. Kid. I love them. And that's how my kids were named. And then I had to stick with it and like,
yeah. I wanted to give my youngest 7 names. I've talked about this on the stream, though. It didn't fly.
Yeah,
I wanted to give.
So we gave them cool middle names, but that's it.
Yeah, I wanted to name my firstborn to give them my middle name, which is my grandmother's maiden name in Irish, and my middle name is Kalin, Kalin.
Okay.
And my ex-in-laws are like, no, people think he's gay. And my ex agreed with them.
Great. At this point, I'm like, great.
Well,
Kalin is a very trans
obviously back in the
actually.
day.
There's a lot of trans Kalins.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, so my youngest, that's his middle name.
It's one of the names.
So like and my oldest from my first marriage, his middle name is Douglas. So like I went super pedestrian. It was like,
well, until you're at that point of being a parent, which is sometimes the beginning, but obviously if you have more, it's not. That's a stressful time, in my personal opinion, picking a kid's name, and if you're really conscious about it, or you have any kind of self reflection, you want to get that right, or you want to kind of give them an out. It would be nice if we could, because what I didn't like about the hospital, especially with my second one, is they're like pushed for a name. It was like, how about you chill the fuck out? My kid was still in intensive care or something, my youngest, and I'm like, can y'all just worry about like making sure that he lives, as opposed to what fucking name I'm gonna fucking slap him with that he probably is not gonna like, and at some point might want to change, but then he's not going to want to go up against his parents and change what their vision is. But meanwhile, as parents, we didn't tell them that. We were like, I didn't know what to fucking name you. I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry
just
if you
chose
don't
some
like
shit
it.
from a magazine.
Right. I've told my kids numerous times, if y'all don't like your name, let's work on it. We can change it. I really don't care. And they were like, what? And I was like, wow, it must be interesting for kids coming up thinking that, man, I don't want to fuck with my parents, but I really don't like this name and it doesn't describe me and I don't feel it.
Doesn't suit
So
you.
like, right. And it's, but you just, how many people would just stay silent, Nick? Because, and how this goes, instead of like trying to go cross them or even like make it seem like you're resentful of anything for them, when you just simply don't like the fucking name.
Yeah.
Like it can be just that. It doesn't have to be this big thing
What's
that you're
really
building.
funny,
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you want to comment on that, but
what's super funny is that my wife, her name is Catherine, and she actually, that is not her birth name, and she has her name by birth is Anna Kunicki, and her parents chose it, and they were like, they think it's a great name. And when I changed my name, she had her thinking like, well, actually, when we first started dating, I was like, we're like laying in bed, and I was like, do you feel like Anna is like your real name? And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I just feel like Anna is not your real name. Like, that's not supposed to be your name. And she was like, tell me more. I was like, I don't know. I feel like your name is Catherine. And she instantly started crying because she was like, I've always practiced my name would be Catherine with a K, blah, blah, blah. I just never felt like my name was Anna. And she waited until she was, I think, 30, she was 41 maybe, before she changed her name. But she changed her name legally from Anna to Catherine and just told, like, she lives a public life. She's a life coach. She like has an online business. Like it was like a big fucking deal for her to change her name. And she was like, listen, I am going to change my name because I can, because for no other reason than Anna didn't ever feel like it was me. It always felt like you're talking about, like, who are you talking? Oh, me? Like, sorry. Like it just didn't, it doesn't suit me. It doesn't feel like who I am. And I have, the only reason why I've kept this name for so long is because I love my parents. And I just felt like, oh, well, they must have chose it for me special, so it must be for me. But like, really, like, she's like, I've done everything else to fuck with my parents. Her parents are beautiful Christian missionaries who love the Lord Jesus Christ with all their heart and people with all their heart also. And she's like, and they have always loved me. So why, like, I might as well do like, I had a kid out of wedlock. I had an abortion. I married a woman. He then became a man. He was married to someone else when I fell in love with him. She did all the terrible, awful things. She's like, I bet you they'll love me when I change my name too. And sure enough, my in-laws are actually here right now from Portland, and they fucking love her to pieces, regardless of what her name is. And even though they're like old school hippie Jesus people, they are still like, it doesn't matter. They're like, but she waited till she was 41 to change her name. And there are a lot of people that were like, you can't just do that. And she was like, fuck you all. I sure as fuck can. And I just did.
Right. And it's just weird though, real quick. I'm sorry. It's just weird that you're forced to name something that you've never seen. Go on, Doug.
All right. So I have a couple things. That first, I just want to say that the idea of like you're doing it in the wrong way or you've done that's a lot of shit. All right. People are complex beings. Things happen. Things change. You can't control who you fall in love with and at what time. Does that mean that sometimes that you kind of decline that because you realize what you have over here is this? No, like shit happens. Like literally that's life. Shit happens. And like I met Joe, and when I met Joe, I was in no fucking space. I was separated for 2 months, and I was just like, fuck getting married, fuck all that stuff. That first round was not good for me. So I've had my fill. I'm good. I'm just gonna listen. I'd rather just do my own thing and blah 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 blah. And I met her, and she just fucking changed. She flipped the script on me real fast. She didn't do anything. She was just herself. But the idea of like seeing Catherine being like, you know what, I did all these things and they're gonna like not like this, and I did all these things, and who gives a shit? Like, life's short, we all know that, and why aren't you making it whatever your experience should be? We've had these sort of systemic views of how you should do things, which is a lot of shit. And I'm gonna guess, Nick, you're probably similar to us in that you told a kid, you don't have to get married, you don't have to have kids, you don't have to buy a house, you don't have to go to college, you don't do any of that shit. You have to find something that you can work and make enough money to be able to provide for yourself, and your happy stuff, that shit's outside of work. Don't fucking settle for like, now you got to find a job that you can tolerate. Tolerate is the key word, I think, because most jobs
but
fucking
not
suck.
everybody gets, like, it's impossible to think that everyone gets to live their only dream, whatever, because that, like, lots of people can live their dream outside of what they do for 30 to 40 hours a week.
Yep. And then the idea of like you see people and again, I'm living in TikTok world here. We're talking about like Europeans think it's really fucking weird that Americans like, what do you do for a living? It's like an icebreaker. Like, who gives a shit about that? What do you like to do? Like, do you like to go to work? Because if you like to go to work, okay, I'm going to be very dubious of you. I'm going to wonder what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean like you can't enjoy your work. But like the things that you enjoy, I think as I've gotten older, because I was told not that, like work your ass off and do all that. And that probably led to a lot of my issues, other than me having a shitty diet, not exercising, but also the stress of just working tons of hours because that's what I thought I had to do. Like I'm getting to a point, I promise. But I just think that the idea of being able to live your life the way you need to, yes, there are certain constraints. We live in a capitalist society. You don't kind of have a choice on that much. You do, like some people don't have that choice at all. Some people, they're just fucking stuck and they have to do shit. And I did that for 30 years. Like I lived super poor and fucking scrape by, where I was eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for 3 weeks straight because that's what I had money for. Yes. Well, I used to watch Carl. So there was a guy that I used to work with that used to fall asleep every day at work, right next to our boss. And then my boss would get up my ass if I was away from my desk for 5 minutes. And what was funny is like, I would take pictures of him just like, all right, so he'd be like this at his desk. Next to my boss, literally my boss is 4 feet from him. I remember my boss multiple days waking him up and saying, hey, it's time to go home. But I couldn't be away from my desk for 5 minutes. So that's a whole other side story. But I just think it's kind of, I think the kids that like, and my kids at least are seeing it. And I think maybe your kids are doing, maybe Greg, you as well, seeing that things aren't like you have to do things. You have to date, and then you gotta get married, then you buy a house, and then you get kids, and then you have to do any of that shit. You have to find your happiness where you find it.
Yeah, I think my kids are seeing that because I decided to show that to them. Because I got married when I was 19. I got a good job. I saved money. I bought a house. I had a kid. I had another kid. I bought a bigger house. I got a fancy SUV. It had gadgets and things. I then had the 2 more kids. And then I was like, holy fuck, none of this makes me happy. I feel trapped and I'm going to die inside. Oh my goodness. Even though I have all of the things that the outside world tells me that I want. I live in like a upper middle class suburb. I have a 2,700 square foot house. I have a trampoline. What the fuck else could life want, right? I'm self-employed. And then I had to blow it up because none of that made me happy. But I'm not willing to just get back on that escalator again. And so my kids now see me, like they saw me blow that up and sell my fancy SUV and buy a used minivan. And they watched me move out of the big fancy house we lived in and move into a 1,400 square foot starter home in a community that was less desirable and be like, this is okay because it's what's within my means. They also saw me continue to work as an entrepreneur and continue, like, there's lots of times when I work really, really hard. And then now there's lots of times where they're like, oh, like, I didn't realize that everyone's dad doesn't just not work Fridays because their kids don't go to school on Fridays. Because on our island, kids don't go to school on Fridays. It's a 4-day school week. And so I just don't ever work Fridays. And the fact that they just think that that's like, well, of course their parents don't work on Fridays so they can spend the day with them. And I'm like, well, no, like, that's not normal. That's like, I'm really privileged, but they're just like, oh, well, like, I don't want to work. Like, my one kid's like, yeah, I think a teacher is as close to a normal job as I could ever have because, like, I don't know, anything less than 10 weeks vacation, I don't know what I would do with myself. And you're just like, right, I know, you bunch of spoiled little shits. But also, I'm like annoyed by the fucking audacity of it. And
but you have to applaud
it.
You have to applaud it in a way, don't you?
I'm pleased as punched by the audacity of it because they will require more of the capitalist society than what we required. And we allowed people to, we are the not us, but us and our parents are the generation that allowed CEOs and CFOs and all those people to make billions and millions and whatever of dollars. And it's only now that, like, this next generation is being like, whoa, hold the fucking phone. And they're like ready to set shit on fire. And it's like our generation now getting sick of what was handed down to us. But what was handed down to us was bullshit.
Yeah.
And I don't think our kids are going to put up with that. My kid's like, fuck this noise. I think I'll live in a van, she says. I'd rather live in a van than fucking have to work all the time.
And you know what?
And then we have the privilege of having, I have lived in my car. So I grew up super poor in Oshawa, Ontario, GM Town. What's up? Also the home of Hell's Angels in Canada. So there's more. It's like the meth capital of Canada. Also, you're welcome. That's where I grew up, and so for me, I have a lot of privilege, but I also have like a lot of like I worked really fucking hard to get here. And still, I have so much privilege that allowed me as a cis passing, and I did a lot of my growing as a cis presenting woman, and so that presented other problems and holdbacks. Feminine could really use a little boost there, but it also, not presenting as a queer person, gave me a lot of opportunity that I wouldn't have been given if I wasn't cis passing. And I think I pushed down a lot of my trauma in order to get where I got to, and then dealt with it as a grown up. But all of that to say that, like, I don't know, I sort of lost it because I'm a stoner. All of that to say that, like, it's bullshit what we were handed, and we're just doing, as parents, as people, as humans, as whatever. I think we're starting to become really conscious of what we were handed and going, whoa, do I even fucking want this? Because I was handed this, like, thing that I should want, and I've been striving for it all this time, but, like, I don't even know if I like this career path. So, like, maybe we should just, like, slow the roll and try something else, you know?
Yep, and I think it makes us more conscious if you know what was handed to you, what you want to hand to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing, at least being conscious about it, because again, not even being conscious of it won't make you conscious about what you're doing for them or what you're handing them. You know, our generation was oh, you're 18, well, you get out. Like, none of that, none of that wonderful perception that I at least have now, which is, oh, you 18, you ain't ready for shit. Come back to me and talk to me when you're like 20 if you're really talking about, going anywhere. You want to go somewhere, great, but I don't know how much I could be helping you when I know you don't know shit. And I know what I know about, what people are doing today, and what I know about the world. There's no way I can let my kids just run out when they're 18. There's just no way. It doesn't make any sense. And I got homeschool kids, Nick, so they're a little bit more naive to. I'm working on that as far as the naivety, but they're still on.
I mean, my kids run around in the forest barefoot all fucking day, so
right. So they're naive to big city life. What if something drew them to like Toronto?
Right. The other day,
big
my
city?
kid was like, "Hey, Dad, I've accidentally brought my backpack and I didn't want to bring it today, so I left it at the car stop. Can you swing by and pick it up?" Because hitchhiking is like a normal thing that happens here, so we have car stops where are good spots for you to hitchhike. And that's also where her bus stop happens to be. So she just left her backpack at the car stop and was like, "That way you know where to find it." And I was like, "There's a laptop in there, motherfucker. What are you doing?" I was like, and I'm friends with the vice principal at her school, and she's like, "These kids, they just leave their $1,000 devices plugged into chargers out in hallways. She also grew up in Toronto, and she's like, "That shit would have been gone twice where I lived, like twice,
Right.
And I'm like, they run around barefoot, hippies in the forest. No one's gonna do anything bad to them, and it'll be interesting to see them go out into the world."
So yeah, naive as fuck. Got it.
Yeah, they go to school, but like,
right outside of that, it's like I'm not trying to throw you out in the world.
Yeah.
No, but we do have this though. Doug, we have actually a couple things here to talk about. One thing is this. Nick, you extensively talked about Pose earlier. And y'all check it out on Hulu. But Nick has another TV show he wants to talk about real quick.
Oh, Euphoria. I dig that one. But oddly enough, I actually didn't want to watch it. My kids wanted to watch it. And the rule that I had with my kids was that they couldn't watch it unless they watched it with us. Because this is some for real shit. I don't know if y'all watch this show, but it is like some fucked up shit. It's basically like these kids who are being high schoolers, but are doing very much more intense high schooler things than what I did when I was a high schooler, because drugs are a bigger game now. And it's just like the fallings and like all the trauma and drama and all of that of this like 17-year-old addict. And we watch it with our kids, and we're allowed to pause it twice an episode. That's the rule. And give them like a dad or a mom talk on it. And it was the best thing I did with my kids this year.
What drugs are we talking about, Nick?
Like coke, opioids, fentanyl,
weed,
a lot of weed, antidepressants, Xanax,
dangerous
MDMA,
drugs.
dangerous drugs. And there's a trans character in it, but it just allowed us to have these like really honest, fucking raw conversations with our kids that weren't about them or what their friends were doing, but was about these fictional characters and like, what would they do in that situation, or what would they wish that they were doing, or and like, it was so good. It allowed our kids to have real conversations about real things with us.
Excellent. HBO Max, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's some dark shit, but it's worth it.
And Zendaya.
Yeah, always Zendaya.
There's that. Excellent. Well, thanks, Nick, for that. Doug, this is for you.
So
what are you listening to?
So I wanted to talk about a podcast that I've talked about in the past, but the current season is actually kind of apropos and actually ties into something I wrote that was published on parents.com this week. There is a thing called Slow Burn, which is, let me share the screen here, but it is basically a podcast. They follow some topic and they do it like one year was like the first year was fucking amazing, and it was about Watergate, and then the next year was about the Clinton Lewinsky thing, and they did a season where they followed the Cleveland court system, which was fucked up. And but this year they're following Roe versus Wade and how that came to be. And let me tell you, that was kind of just an eye opener to really hear what they were talking about, how the cases that actually did that. And it wasn't just two, it was like 3 or 4 that actually kind of pushed that narrative to get it to where the Supreme Court went. It talks to the Supreme Court justice who actually was the deciding vote in Roe versus Wade, and how he had talked to his family. He had 3 daughters, and his daughters, one was a conservative, one was a middle, and one was like a hippie fucking liberal, and like how they talked about that, and his wife, and how he always thought it was the right choice. And considering the Supreme Court decided to be like, fuck precedent of 50 years. So yeah, it's a great podcast. They just do it like a deep dive on a topic, and I love how they do it. It's really engaging. This is like 9 episodes, but yeah, this is yeah. So it starts.
You can probably find this anywhere.
Any podcast app that you do, but yeah, but this also ties. But this also ties into something that that is important to me, and it is that particular article that I wrote for Parents.com. Amber, Nick, you remember being with Amber on our panel? Mm-hmm. They reached out to me and asked if I would write an article about abortion. Well, they asked. There was a couple of people that were in the chat that they reached out to. Somebody who supported somebody who had an abortion and somebody who had a vasectomy, and I am both. So basically, the article talks about how, when I was going, I was high school, college age, and the girlfriend I had, who was a serious girlfriend, got pregnant, and she talked to me about, well, I'm not sure what to do. And I told her straight out, I said, listen, I will do whatever you decide. If you decide that you want to have the kid, I'll drop out of college. I'll get a job. We'll make it work. If you decide to have an abortion, I'll pay for it. I'll still love you, and I'll still be part of your life, and we'll work through this. And this was in the 1990s. This was a long time ago, but like, I didn't think that was not that was a common sense thing for me. Like, listen, it's your body, it's not mine. Yeah, it was part of getting you pregnant, but it's not my body. So to me, it made sense to just be like, I'm here to support you whichever way you go. She chose to have an abortion. I supported her through it. Now, we didn't last very much after that. But later on, when my current wife and I got together, I was 40. I had 2 kids. She had 2 kids. I was like, I'm good. I don't need anything. So, I went and I had a vasectomy. And it's one of the best decisions I ever made. It's so easy. You go in, like, they gave me Valium. And I am not a person who takes drugs. So, like, I drink. That's my drug of choice. I was high as shit. I was just like, ha ha. And like, he was soldering my nuts, and there was smoke coming up, and I'm like, look, it's smoke. And I'm like, ha ha. I was like just a ditz. And the best story about that is my wife was in the room watching it being done. And the doctor, he was in the middle of doing it, and all of a sudden some noise and ringing started happening. And he walked over to my wife and asked her to hit the Bluetooth headset on his ear. And then he answered a call and took a call while he was finishing cauterizing my nads. So yeah, but the point of the article is just really simple. It's like it's beyond time for people like me to stand up for reproductive rights. I've always been so. I have not been super vocal about it, and that's on me. I should have been more vocal about it. But guess what? People like me who are cis straight white guys, we're the ones that need to be fucking yelling about this. Not women, not trans folks, like anybody who has a uterus, doesn't matter. We should be standing for them. We should be fucking standing so they have the right to do what they want to do with their bodies. And that was the whole point of that article. I'm super pleased that Amber asked about it because I've been thinking about writing something and I have not blogged shit in fucking 2 years. I've been going to fiction writing. I was really rusty writing this. My wife did a great job of helping me edit. Most of the things I write, regardless of fiction or nonfiction, I send over to her way. Her English literature degree really helps. And yeah, so fucking, hey, straight dudes, stand the fuck up. Major voice, all of us.
All right. Can I strike from the record soldering my nuts from this stream forever?
Nope. I'm going to say it every episode now.
Soldering my nuts.
Yeah, Nick.
The things we do for love.
Right. Nut soldering. Okay. Yeah. Doug, heard your voice. Y'all check it out. Doug tweeted it out a couple times. I have tweeted it out. I will do it more. But yeah, now it's time for the wrap, as we say. Nick, I want to thank you for gracing us with your presence, spending some time with us, educating us. Is there anything that we missed? I'm sure there was, because we had to talk about Chuck E. Cheese.
The Chuck E. Cheese was the highlight of all of it. So
it was great.
Pretty good about it.
I think. Right. Hey man, listen. We usually have our guests on, and a lot of times we're like, we need to have you back. We absolutely can have you back because we haven't even touched a lot of things we want to talk about. Right. And we're over 2 hours in, and I mean, right. We need to have you back.
This is just fun times. Yeah. I'm here. I'm down, is what I'm saying. And Roberto, I'm 37, not 40 yet.
I was going to say, yep.
37.
I had it.
But you know who is 40? Your wife.
Yeah, but she's not running anywhere for any reason. I promise you. She's what we call an inside cat. She stays indoors. She keeps her coat really soft.
She's an inside cat. That's awesome.
Oh my god!
I think I've become that too, dog. It's
She looks at nature through the window.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Nick, anything we missed? Anything? Because we do miss shit, as Doug says.
I don't know. I think that was it. That was all of it.
That was a good. That was a good intro, but we definitely need to have you back.
Yeah. How about in the fall? How about holiday time?
The fall, dude. We're booked out into September already. We need to
We still have holiday time.
Yeah, we do have holiday time.
We can do like a Christmas excitement. I don't know.
Yeah. What do you do for that? You don't sound like a really religious person. We can get into that.
My wife makes Christmas magical.
Okay, maybe we want to talk about that.
Now we have to see that.
We have we rock Christmas up in here. We've taken it from Jesus and we've made it our own.
Right. Man, that's great.
I'm very happy about that. So listen, we'll have an
talk
after show
sometime about something.
Yeah, so, but we do have an after show when Greg and I wrap up the beers we talked about. So if you'd like to stick around, that would be great because I know there's a few people that would mind talking to you after the fact, so including us. But if you could stick around a bit, great. If you can't, we totally understand. But man, thanks so much for being here. Really, thanks for agreeing. I was just so fucking happy to have you people be on here.
Every time you say you booked me, I feel fancy because I'm like, oh yeah, he booked me.
Yes.
I guess that's
right,
true.
Right.
Yeah.
Nick, you have a great presence, man. You're a good guy. Love it. Love meeting you.
Thank you.
Cheers to that. Cheers to your family. Cheers to Canada. I love that one meme that we have. Like, people in Canada must think that they literally live above a meth lab, Doug. So
probably
a little bit.
A little bit.
But then there's this weird 30% that live, or maybe 20%, maybe even less, that are they're like, no, but that meth lab looks really good. We should get a meth lab up here.
Is that like the Doug Ford contingent? Because that's who I think you're talking about.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
And of
Bro,
course,
he just like
of course, his name is
made like
fucking
the
Doug.
international affairs guy his like nephew who's only has a high school education, which I'm not hating on, but I just think that you're probably not supposed to be in charge of international affairs.
Yeah.
Cheers, Nick. We'll see you soon.
See you soon, man.
On that note,
That's
a great note to leave.
Nick, love you, man. Thank you for being on.
Oh, thank you for having me so
Really
much.
fun. Please, please grace us back. It'd be great. We love it.
Hang out. We'll see you in a few minutes.
So, Doug, good work with another. Yes. Good work.
I love that guy. I do.
Yes. Fun. Yeah, the irony that we have the Betty Ford. Right.
Yeah, I don't think that's related to Doug Ford, but yeah. I like how we did time for review and you're like walking off camera. All right, I'll go first then. Although I don't have one of my cans because one of my kids always takes a sample. So I gave him the can. So I started with the Japanese rice lager, which was really outstanding, really quick drinker. The one they had my son decided he wanted to try was the raspberry sour bay, which was a mango sea salt raspberry, which was really good. That was really good. But the golden drac is just, how do you fucking not pick the quad? It is just delicious. I'm already on this much left, so that's how good that is. I drank this whole fucking thing. So
you gotta wake up early?
No, thankfully.
Check on that one. I had to check on that one.
Yep.
None of these ones stand out, but that's a good thing. They were all good about what they wanted to do, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They were all fun, mostly all light for the summer. Rocktown Brown from Rockford, Illinois. Notice I said that. High Life. And that's from Jersey. And then we have Crushable from Iowa. So yeah, I had a nice little
you were all over the US
versatile. Yep, and I still got this brown for our after show. And we are going to, let's see, do we have anything to plug? This Tuesday we'll be talking to Bear and Squirrel Brewing. They are queer owned and they are also non-alcoholic.
Oh wow, cool.
So
that's
awesome. That'll be interesting conversation to see what's going on. I believe they are Pennsylvania, New Jersey area, southern Pennsylvania, like southeast Pennsylvania. And let's see, where is it again? Bear and Squirrel, southeast Pennsylvania or southern New Jersey. But that should be fun. That's the day after July 4th, July 5th at 9 p.m. over on Twitter Spaces. If you follow me, you'll get a notice or you'll see something around that time and you'll be allowed to jump in. Or you can DM me and I will send you an invite, but I don't want to spam people, so I don't send invites. But if you want invites to my spaces, I will send you invites if you want to do that. So
we also need to talk about our guest next week. Thanks to Laura Nee, who booked this next guest. Because
I don't.
His name is Jeff.
You bring it up now.
Yeah, it's Jeff Harry, and let me tell you, if you want something super funny, but he's funny, but he's funny in kind of a profound way. And yeah, his fucking, first of all, that goddamn photo of him is perfect for his fucking stuff. That is exactly the kind of person, that's the kind of thing you want to see. And we're going to have the return of Casey. Man, that's going to be a good show. So yeah, I'm going to tell you, that's going to be just a fabulous show. We're really going to enjoy that. Jeff is super funny. So,
and you know who's the week after, Doug?
No, because I haven't looked at the calendar. I just knew Jeff.
the one and only Jessica Jones.
Yes. Dude, we've been trying. You have been just at that one. That has been like your fucking, that's been your white whale, I think, to get it as a guest. Am I wrong?
Yeah, we got Barron Squirrels in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. So that I believe counts southeast Pennsylvania. But yeah, just coming on and Casey. Yeah, that's right.
Money is exactly
Can't
right.
get enough of KCP. This is
Yep.
true. Near victory. Okay. Oh yeah. Victory.
And Victory is the place where I actually met Jeff Bogle in person. That's the first time I ever met Jeff Bogle in person. Like I met him there at Victory Brewery. So yeah.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah. Small world.
So yeah, Jeff. Our next week should be exciting. And if y'all, anybody who's out there, you want to join a beer group, we got beers for all. Google that. I'm not Googling it. Put it on Facebook.
Can we talk about that fucking just a Daddy Porter joint? Just that icon is just perfect.
That's my new logo. It just hasn't been debuted, but look, there you go. Y'all see it.
Yep.
I'm just slow on some things, but yeah, that's the new logo. So yeah, their victory is still a loss.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Victory Brewing, Dupus.
Oh, I got it, Doug. Doug, got a nice couple weeks coming up. Y'all enjoy your 4-day America holiday weekend. Make it your own. And have a good time with your friends. Excuse me?
Celebrate it any way you wish. If you celebrate.
Yeah. But yes, this is the first July 4th in a couple years that we could safely be with our friends and family. So if you can do that, I highly recommend that, of course. And we will see y'all next week. Same time.
All right. Thanks, folks. Love you guys.
Same time.
Same bad channel.
There you go.